Welcome back, everyone. So today I'm going to be giving you an introduction to the Suzuki violin lesson book, and I will be also teaching you guys how to read music. Let's begin with reading music. Over here you have your staff. Each space or line represents a note, and each line or space you go up represents a semitone up, and each line or space you go down represents a semitone lower. Okay? And over here you have your clef indication, which in our case is a treble clef, or it's also known as a G clef, which is what the violin uses most of the time. It's called the G clef because the clef, like the line you draw over here, ends on the line where G is indicated. And as I mentioned earlier, each line or space you go up means a semitone higher. So here you have an A and B, C, D, E, F, G, and so on. If you continue, like you will need to add a ledger line, which is this line over here, because you have run out of lines. And if you still need to go higher, you can go to a B, which is just no ledger line yet. But if you go to a C, you'll need 2 ledger lines. If you go higher, 3 ledger lines, and so on. And the same applies when you go down. So G over here, and then when you descend, you go to a F, E, D, and you run out, you go to a C with a ledger line, and so on. Okay? And over here, we also have the bass clef, which is also known as the F clef, because the line the dots over here, surrounds the line where F is indicated. So here is a F. You go up, you go to a G, A, D, and then you run out of lines, you add a ledger line. Same applies when you go down. Run out of lines, add a ledger line. Run out again, add another ledger line. Between the clef and the time signature, it's a key signature. The key signature is indicated, like for example, if I put this sharp on the line where F is indicated, it would be an F sharp. If I put another one on where the space where C is indicated, there will be a C sharp. If I add another one and I put it on G, G sharp. And even though I only put it over here, it applies to all the octaves. So as you can hear, the F over here has become an F sharp, but same goes with the F over here. Same goes with C. C over here is a C sharp, and the C over here is also become a C sharp. And same goes with G. And the same applies in bass clef. Now let's try to do a G major, which has one sharp. So you start off with a G over here, and you ascend. And then you can just descend. And that's how we create music. Now we are finally going to get started with our lesson book, the Suzuki Violin Method, Volume 1. I'm going to be putting the link to the PDF in the description, so please go look at that, and then I will be showing you how you play this. And while I'm showing you, you will need to reference to this so you can play along and also get the idea of how you should play. Let's begin on our first exercise, the exercise for a proper E string posture. This time I will only be playing it one time, but I would recommend that you watch it at least 3 times. The first time, listen to me play while looking at the sheet music. The second time, actually watch the video and look at my posture. And for the third time, just play along with me. And if you do not get it the third time, just keep on replaying my video while also playing along until you get the gist of it. And when you play this, you will also need to use a metronome if you're not playing along with my video. Because if you don't use a metronome, your tempo will not be steady and that will not be good. Let's start playing. And don't forget your metronome. And that's how you play it. Now let's start on the exercise for changing strings. I would recommend that you use this video the same way you used it last time. Now let's start on the exercise for quick placement of fingers. Now let's begin with the second set of exercises for quick placement of fingers. Now we are finally ready to begin our first piece, Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. But before we do that, let's start with the variations so you know how to play it. And before we start the variations, read the notes on top so you get the basics first. And now let's start with variation A. For variations B through D, we're just going to play until the etc. because there is no need to play beyond that, and it is also not written down on your sheet music. And like you following my video to play it would only be stressful for you, and it is unnecessary to do that because like when you play until the etc., you will already get the feeling of what it's supposed to be like, and you can play just as well on the theme without playing beyond the etc. on the variations. So we're just going to play it until there. Now let's start on variation B. But before we do that, please take a look at the bowings and make sure you remember to follow them. Because if you do not follow them, you will feel very awkward when you are playing and you will not be able to play smoothly. So remember. Now let's begin with variation C. Please be aware that the pattern for this one is an 8th note and then two 16th notes. A lot of people get confused with this one and then just start playing it as triplets, which is completely different and is wrong for it. Let's begin. And don't forget your metronome. Now let's begin with variation D. This one you must count by 8th notes because having 4 16th notes in a row, and especially having continuous 16th notes like this, tends to make most people rush. Another way you can do it is by slowing your tempo in general and then counting by 16th notes. But that makes it very slow and it may be a little bit boring. So I would recommend trying it with 8th notes first, but if it doesn't work out and if you rush or drag, then count by 16th notes. I will be demonstrating it both ways. But if you do use 16th notes, you do need to decrease your tempo because otherwise the metronome will go so fast that for beginners, you will not be able to follow it. Now let's start with 8th notes. That's 160 beats per minute on the metronome. Now I'm going to demonstrate 16th notes. And I'm going to set it to 200 beats per minute. Okay, so 16th notes. Now you are finally ready to start playing the theme. While you do that, please keep in mind that you should follow the bowings. And this time, you should also follow the dynamics, which in our case is a forte, which is represented by the F in the beginning. This means that you should play fairly loudly and confidently. Now I'm going to demonstrate to you, and please watch it once, and then the second time, just listen to it while looking at the sheet music, and the third time, play along with me. And just keep on replaying the video and playing along until you get the gist of it. And remember, always use a metronome. But I will not use it this time, so you can get it how it sounds like. But I would recommend that you start at around 80 to 120 beats per minute. Start at 80, and when you get more used to it, go to 120. Or if you really do not get it, you can start slower, as slow as you like. Yeah, I'm going to begin now. this piece, use your entire bow because it is all quarter notes and half notes. It is only long enough in this case if you use the entire bow. Thank you all very much for watching my video. If this video helped, please be sure to go hit that like button down below, subscribe, and hit that bell next to the subscribe button so you will be notified every time I post a new video. In my next video, I will be showing you how to play the next piece in the Suzuki book, and I really hope to see you there.